You got a wig, you could just like, All right, we're going to call to order the Public Art Commission meeting for May 22nd, 2025. Also pointing out we've got a few folks absent, so we do not have a quorum, so we won't be voting on anything tonight, but we can still discuss business as needed. So first on the list was our approval of minutes, but we will skip that over. If someone shows up late and we'll have enough for a quorum, we can circle back around to that, but for now we'll skip that. So I'll turn it over to you, Tanisha.
Okay, so most of mine are just quick updates. So during our last meeting, we were still in the middle of Art Drop, which was going really well, but I wanted to show some numbers. So I counted 85 pieces of art dropped during that week, which I think is phenomenal.
That's great.
We gave out, we created 63 kits, which the high school team helped me with. We did not quite give out 63. I want to say we have maybe 25 left, so we'll hold those for next year. We had 2 sponsors this year. Both were actually unplanned and contacted me, which was amazing. So we'll definitely reach out to them next year ahead of time to see if they want to do that and maybe be involved in even a bigger way. And then my last stat on here, excuse me, my last stat on here is for the Chamblee Public Art Instagram. We had 20,000 views that week. So people were very much looking at that Instagram account, which is great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about how this year went, and I think this is all a good reason to keep doing it.
Oh, great.
Oh, good. All right, so this is our most recent event, Mahalani's Polynesian Review. This happened this past weekend on Sunday, and I think it was a huge success. We had a number of people from the media here. I have up on the screen, Fox 5 sent out a rep to do an interview, and they did take some video, but it doesn't look like the video made it to the website. I don't know if we'll see that at another time, but the write-up was great. Had a lot of really nice quotes in it, and I think everybody had a good time. And I do have the video here. I don't know, I usually can't get sound to play. You know what, I don't think I'll be able to do it at all, actually. But that's okay. If you want to go to the Chamblee YouTube, you can watch their overview of the morning performance. They weren't around for the afternoon, which, as some of you who were there know, the sound was a little messed up in the morning, so the second performance was better. But I think our marketing efforts did really well on this. We had a lot of people coming from outside of Chamblee, which is great. And I think it's because we put an ad in the Georgia Asian Times online newspaper. I'm not sure if they have a printed one, but that seemed to really draw sort of a new crowd, which I'm excited about. So I think we'll keep posting ads with them. And we also did a couple other ads which were successful, and I think the crowd was good. It was small, but it was very festive. People were really into it, and were excited to go up on stage and learn the dances, and everyone just seemed really sort of grateful that we were having this event, so I'm happy about it. And I don't think that having it on a Sunday did us any harm. I think it was fine. So I think, in the future we can look at other Sunday events.
And we had, probably about 200 to 300 folks across both performances?
I think for the full day, probably about 300, 350.
Got it.
Yeah. And then, of course, we also captured people who were just walking by, kind of going out to lunch, that sort of thing. And a couple notes across the street at Chamblee Tappan Market, they said they were really busy. They ended up donating 2 gift cards for us to give away during the event. The coffee place did really well. I think the food truck did well. Everyone seemed happy, so it was good. And Jeremy was there in the morning to help out.
In the rain?
in the rain, which thankfully cleared up. Yep. Oh, look, it is going to play. So hopefully that didn't cause any feedback online. Okay, so anyways, it was really fun. It was great. And I had a lot of people asking me if we were going to do another performance in the park next year. So I think people are excited for it. Okay, so Artsy Elaine, I don't really have an update for this, which is why there's nothing but the picture. I've seen her out there working on it, but I do not know if it's completed. I know that she was sort of waiting for the perfect weather scenario to do a clear coat on top of it. I just don't think that she's done that part of it yet, but it's been worked on. William Massey, my update on that is that after our last meeting, we approved the technical drawings, and that initiated number 2 out of the 3 invoices to be paid. So I went ahead and put that in the system, and now the physical work can begin. I do want to do another walkthrough with him, and I'm going to show you why. So when he last did a walkthrough, the image on the left was what that entrance to Dresden Park looked like, and now it looks like on the right. So you can see that a pretty big chunk of the green space has been taken, and I believe that I just think that he should see it in person again to kind of feel out the space and make sure that we have the location right and all that. So he actually reached out to me this morning, and I haven't gotten back to him because I thought we could do this meeting first in case there was anything that I needed to bring back to him. But yeah, that's my only notes on William.
That's the only hiccup. I mean, everything's going fine. It's just to decide the last.
Yeah,
The final location?
yeah, really, I just kind of want him to have eyeballs on it in case, you know, I don't know, in case his idea of the sort of width or size of it changes due to the placement.
Yeah. If there is a walkabout and a look-see of this, I'd like to participate.
Okay, sure. The problem right now is that you can't park right there because it's still construction zone. So sometimes, you know, like when Jody goes over there, she brings a city car so that she can like put the flashers on and be in the road. So it's a little complicated right now. But if we take a little field trip, I'll let you know. So another thing I've been working on is the signage for the current sculptures. So eventually we'll have signage for all the public art, including likely the murals. But I wanted to start kind of with a sort of one small piece of it. So I went with sculptures. This is what it's looking like right now. The next edit is that we need the white behind the Chamblee logo. Somehow that was lost in the last iteration. So this is basically what the metal sign would look like, and if for a sculpture, most of the sculptures, it would go on top of a pedestal. There are some sculptures where we have a flat area where it would be mounted.
Question, are there any ADA considerations such as Braille?
We did think about that. I don't think that our current signage company provides that, but I do know that there's companies out there that will provide like a, almost like a sticker that you can add on to it. So we could think about that. Jody and I did talk about that. So yeah, if you have any suggestions or any thoughts on that, I'd be open to it.
I don't, but he can research.
Yeah.
As far as the QR code,
So that goes to the story maps. You know, the website that you can scroll and scroll and scroll forever and see all of our
Okay.
public art, yeah. So it goes directly to that, and that QR code is directly from that company, the Story Maps company.
Last question, is the QR code trackable so we can see how many scans we get?
It is. Unfortunately, they do not provide QR codes for each art piece, so it's just a general,
No, that's fine.
but
it's
I
fine.
think it's still
Yeah.
helpful, yeah. And this was, just a reminder, this was already budgeted for this year.
now that he started construction on this, do we have a date for completion?
Are you talking about the William Massey sculpture,
Yeah.
to go back? So really the sculpture installation and ribbon cutting is based on when the park is going to be completed.
Oh, okay.
So it's less about his work and more about the opening of the park. All right, Little Free Art Gallery. I had a meeting with Andrew, who is our scout, who is doing an Eagle Scout project for us to do the Little Free Art Gallery. We had a really great meeting, and he has a couple scheduling issues. Basically, he's going to be on scout trips for most of the summer. So we're still working out kind of when it's going to happen, but I told him, really, as long as it happens this year, it's fine, because that's what we're budgeted for. So we're working through that. I let him know that I would send him some of our design examples, and he's going to get back to us with the design so that, or his layout, so that I can put it in front of you guys. We did talk about the finances a little bit. Originally, I think it was our understanding, 2 steps back, we thought that we were going to buy a kit before the Eagle Scout thing happened. So we had put aside, I think, $500. And then Eagle Scouts said, we can do this for you. And we thought, or I was under the impression at least, that we could not help them pay for it, that they had to raise those funds themselves. That's actually not part of it. We can help pay for it. I just need to talk to our finance team to find out in what way they would like me to do that. Because I guess usually they take donations like through a parent's, Cash App or something. And I just don't know if the city would want us to do it that way, or if we should set something up. So I need to figure that out, but everything's moving forward with that. It's good. under new business. Now, this is one that I wish we had the whole team here to talk about, because I think, I want to say Shan is really good at document creation. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update. The mural granting program creation was kind of on me. I was trying to figure out if we had any sort of examples that we could use to create this. I did find some examples. The nonprofit program uses a grants form for their nonprofits, and the city grants them, I don't remember how much, $1,500, $500, something like that, for events. And then there was another one too, the Downtown Development Authority does a granting program for enhancements. And so I have those two forms now, and I thought we could take that with the document that we created in the past for this program and kind of make it a fillable document. And we would likely have to put it in front of the lawyer. And I'm not sure if anyone else would really need to see that, I guess. Do you think city council would need to approve something like that?
I'm not sure. It's something that the attorney can weigh in on and the city manager will weigh in on.
Okay. So yeah, maybe I'll just share these in the teams. And then kind of anyone who wants to work on it can kind of fuss with it.
Yeah, please share. I know I had drafted the original, like, just
Yeah.
bones of what the project parameters could look like, but I hadn't seen like the actual like application form. So yeah, please share, and then I'm happy to give any additional feedback.
Okay.
I have not created a grant program like this before, but have applied for other grants, so I can definitely look at it from that point of view.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this one is something that I don't think we've talked about on the PAC, but this is something that we've talked about in our department. And this is, so back during the Babe Walls Mural Festival, there was a piece of wall that was apparently going to be left blank. The community kind of took it upon themselves to create a community wall during the festival, which was great at the time. Loved the, proactiveness. But we do think that we need to do something about it. So I think the two options here are to whitewash that portion of the wall, and that could be done in-house and it might not cost us anything, to be honest. Or I did reach out to the original artist who's over on the right hand, which is Variations. Her name is Vera, and asked what it would look like for her to expand her mural to the left and cover up that impromptu community wall. And so she sent back this image on the bottom there and a price. Oops. And the price is, I can't get it. The price is, I want to say it was $2,200, which is not a ton. We could definitely absorb that into our budget. So the question posed to the PAC is, I guess, is one of the two options preferred.
So, the main objection is that it wasn't approved design, it wasn't approved by this committee or anybody else as far as what goes up there. It was just a freelance sort of thing, right? And
Yeah, and it's, it's fun, but it's a little messy, and I think it kind of invites maybe more graffiti, because it sort of looks like graffiti.
yeah.
So it's sort of just maybe getting in front of it. We could absolutely put out like an RFP. I would say that if we did that, we would probably be looking at a much higher price than 2,200. I think she's cutting us a pretty good deal because likely she already has those paint colors because she's extending it and she already has the design and she wouldn't have to go back and kind of rework it.
Yeah, it just looks kind of innocuous sort of imagery, so I don't think you're really, you're gaining a whole lot other than, getting away from the original image. And, I'd be willing to see other options other than this. And even, commissioning somebody with, that can give us some designs and, improve rather than just kind of like not make it messy,
So just to be clear, if we said no to this artist, we would likely whitewash it in the meantime. So it would end up being that gray that's out there until either later this year or maybe the next year to approve a new mural.
Well, if it's just whitewash, you're going to see something that really a need to do something and address it. If we pay for this lady, and I mean the colors and everything's kind of pleasant, but you're never going to redo that. You're just going to that's pretty permanent. So I say we whitewash it and get a nice mural there.
I'm incomplete, but, I mean, overall, not today. Well, may I ask what the W's mean?
I think it stands for women.
Okay, so for Babe Walls, it was
Yeah.
women, yeah.
Yeah, and it's an extension of her piece that is
Yeah.
off screen to the right that we can't see, and it was in reference to like women and empowerment.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, this photo by itself, it doesn't have any context, so it seems kind of odd.
Yeah, okay.
What do you think, Brittany?
This may sound weird, but I'm ambivalent. I like the spirit behind the community wall, but the aesthetic and the invitation for other people to come out there and put more stuff on there that we may or may not want, I can understand. I love the efficiency of just asking the original artist to come out, but not really like bowled over by the proposal that she's given. So I'm open to other opinions if we think we've got the budget to put an RFP out for something different to fill in the space and go along with the spirit and aesthetic of everything else that's out there. I'm fine with that if we have the budget for it. I just know that then, like you said, will push it out until, because that process usually takes a few months.
Yeah, and it would not be high on the priority list for
Right.
this year.
Right.
We would, we could definitely get there, but we might not.
So then it may spill over into 2026 and, given that it's only May, it's about to be June, that just kind of disheartens me that we'd wait over 6 months before taking action on it. So that's why I'm ambivalent, because I don't love the proposal, but I would like to see it done sooner rather than later.
I just want to be clear, though, that the gray washing could happen likely almost immediately.
Ah, okay.
So if we said, let's wait on this, I could have it gray washed by the end of the month.
And is that also, that expense needs to come out of our budget as well?
It would likely be possibly no to little expense to us because that's the paint that our teams use out there anyway.
Gotcha.
So we would likely already have it. We have the tools.
Okay.
It would just be a request, basically.
Chance, how do y'all feel?
I think at this point, if we're going to have a deliberative process, then the choice is just blank the wall And at that point, we put that section into the pool for future projects and just leave it as is for the time being. I think trying to get anything done this year is time-wise almost impossible. Because you won't have an RFP out until after we meet next month. So June is gone. It's going to be out for 30 days. July is gone. We probably won't have anything to consider until August. And then selection process contracts, we're somewhere in September or so. We're now into the rainy season, so getting a mural done is going to be rather difficult. So I think it's what's shown in the second image or just gray paint. Again, if we want it to be deliberative, then it's gray paint.
How you feeling? You asked about the W's.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, I originally, that was my first question, is can we vote on, a different art being there? Is there other options? Because, I mean, I understand the piece, and it's nice, but I think that we have an opportunity to put something else there instead of just extending the W's. I see why to cover it up. One of my fears is when you gray paint it, it's probably going to invite more people to come out there and paint it again. I mean, it's just, it might happen, but then you just gray paint it again. It's just the way it's going to have to be until there's a piece of art there.
Maybe they can do a little stencil that says like, future art coming.
Maybe, but that doesn't mean they're going to respect it.
True.
So I'm in agreement that we wait and put it into the pool and try to find an artist that we all agree on to put on there, even though it's going to take a while.
I'm fine with that. Like I
Me
said, I'm
too,
kind of
yeah.
ambivalent.
Paint it gray.
The most boring decision to come out of this group.
Well, a gray wall is going to demand more attention than something that we just kind of like a non-committed sort of pleasantry thing. I mean, we can do better than that.
Or we can, paint it gray and then just tape a banana to it.
Yes.
Nice, yeah.
What do you think?
Paint it great and then tape a banana to it. So it sounds like the four of us who are here are in agreement that we're okay with having it whitewashed, or gray washed, we should say, and then we'll put it out, and it'll probably be a high on the 2026 project list.
Well, why don't we just go ahead and make it part of our agenda to look for artists, or just start to get it in our budget either this year or the following year, just have something in place so that we are going to move forward after we gray wash or
We
whitewash
will
it.
start talking about next year's budget pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll definitely have it on the list.
August.
By August.
If not July.
Yeah, we'll start talking about it quick, so it'll be there. Okay, I don't think we need a vote on this.
We can call this by consent at this point.
Okay. Okay, and this is the one that Tom wanted to talk about. He's been wanting to bring up a future sculpture location inside of a roundabout, and this is what we were discussing before we gavelled in. But I'm going to go ahead and let you say your piece.
Well, the main reason that I am interested in this project is because it's just an ideal place to place a piece of sculpture. Experience-wise, I traveled to Oregon quite a bit, and in the town of Bend, they embrace the roundabout tremendously. Almost every roundabout, they have a piece of art that is wonderful, and I would say that in driving around that town, I've seen probably 30 or 40 roundabouts with art, and some are very simple, some are very elaborate, but it's a good opportunity. As far as being a hazard, I can't imagine that it would be. I'd be happy to do some research on that if the city council has that issue with it. But I would like to propose it. Now, given that, there's an artist I'd like to recommend for this, not that you would just hand it over to him, but he's an excellent local sculptor that I've seen his work. He's a metal sculptor. His name's Crawford, Andrew Crawford, and I can get information about him. But I discussed this hypothetical project with him a few days ago, and I used the Massey budget as just a barometer because I wanted to see if he would say, no, I can't do it for anything close to that, or wow, that's doable, or I wanted to get a reaction at $50,000 as the barometer, and he said that's very workable for doing a piece there. And I did also said that it should be, in the vicinity of the Massey sculpture, should be in excess of 10 feet, because outdoor sculptures will they need to be larger than you would normally want or think that is necessary simply because they're outside. So given that, I would like to put this out there, at least have some discussion about it and move forward with it, and certainly have it, on the future budgets coming up in a month or two. So those are my feelings. I mentioned it about, I don't know, 9-10 months ago, and it was the roundabout construction was still 1.5 years, 2 years away, and it was not, it was too far away to really discuss. Now, I'm assuming that it's closer, and that I don't know exactly the deadline, but these things do drag on in terms of completion, and years go by, and so I don't think it's too early to make mention of this.
So you will be happy to know that I've actually spoken to him. We reached out to him years ago when we talked about putting a ornamental gate at that section that was driven through by the,
They're across from Pierce.
yes,
From Pierce Drive.
yeah, and we had reached out to him to get quotes, I guess, but that project ended up falling through. So yeah, we were aware of him, and I believe he's on our list as a sculptor, local sculptor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you think?
What was his first name?
Andrew Crawford.
Andrew?
Andrew,
Crawford.
yeah.
Yeah, Andrew Crawford. I tell you, I drive through this every day. It's starting to turn into a circle. Mm-hmm. It's been a year of driving through this every day. And then it was just like one day it was a circle. So it's coming around. So anyway, I think that would be awesome to have a piece right there in the middle. And you're right. Everywhere that I've ever been in the world where there's roundabouts, there's usually,
So
yeah, they embrace
perfect
the art.
focal,
Yeah.
focal point. And I just think it can enhance the city in a pretty substantial way. Certainly better than looking at traffic lights.
Tom, I do think you said if it would be helpful for you to do some research about the safety concerns.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful, I think.
Yeah, I'll contact Bend, Oregon, the city and get some statistics on if they've had, what the safety issue is and whatnot. It would be a little ammunition for the city council.
The other item, which you'll want to go through the city manager's office, Matt Dunigan with Chamblee Horn. There's already something designed for that center as far as landscaping and whatnot, so there is something planned. We don't start moving dirt without a complete set of construction plans to the final plant. And this is scheduled, was scheduled to be done beginning of this year. It's going to be done end of this summer, beginning of fall. As far as the construction phase goes, that doesn't say we can't go back in. But I think a conversation with the city manager's office and with Matt about what's particular to the Georgia requirements for the roads would be good, because every state has their own variance on what you can and can't have in the right-of-ways. It's not, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, I just, you know, have the ducks in a row before we go too far down the path.
And if not this circle, we do have 2 more coming up in the next couple of years that may be an even better focal point, because this one is really kind of in a neighborhood. The other 2 are right here in downtown Chamblee.
Yeah, those are planned to begin construction, I believe, end of this year, beginning of next year. That's on Chamblee-Dunwoody Road at
Yeah.
Chamblee-Dunwoody Way,
American
Way, and then at New Peachtree. So there's
So
2
it-
traffic circles going in. There's already been this, Chamblee-Dunwoody and New Peachtree. And there's already been some discussion as we've been working on that project about what's going to be in there, and there has been already brought up amongst council as to whether or not art is something we can put into there. So that is already on the radar. So I think some of these conversations may be happening.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, getting ahead of that one would be helpful.
So, Elmer, is there like a specific department that Tanisha should be reaching out to for this
The
research?
city manager's office.
City manager's office. Oh, okay, gotcha.
The city manager's office, because they're the ones that handled the Kimley Horn contract. All these fall under capital projects, which is run out of the city manager's office.
And that, just to be clear for the people who aren't hearing about this because they don't work at City Hall, that'll also be the project that will affect the totem mural, which we will likely want to put in our budget for whatever year that's going to be finished to redo that mural on both sides, because all that wall is going to be fixed up. I'm guessing there's going to be all kinds of stuff.
There's going to be 12-foot wide paths on both sides of the road. It's going to be a road diet, the potentially raised walking area. You won't recognize Chamblee-Dunwoody when we're done.
Right. So that'll be part of that discussion as well.
Well, and what was the timeline on that again?
I'd have to go back and look. I believe that's slated end of this year, beginning of next year to start construction.
To start?
Yeah.
And then it's probably
About an 18-month cycle.
18 months, okay. So then we would be looking at, if it doesn't start until end of this year and it's another 18 months, so then that would be 2027 before it would be,
It becomes a question of
completion.
when the installation happens, if it's being done in process, you
right?
know, with some of that, that's going to want to be planned so that we're not redoing infrastructure 3 months after it's done. You know,
Yeah.
if a concrete pad needs to go in to receive a sculpture, that wants to be baked into the construction at the front end, not after it's all done.
Right, that's a good point. And so then decision on what that sculpture is might need to happen even before that process needs to happen, because that would indicate like how big it needs to be and what kind
Yeah,
of.
exactly.
Okay.
So this is, you know, these are conversations that need to be starting now. Budgeting for that sculpture probably needs to be included for next year.
To purchase it for
If it's going to be
next year.
done, you know, if we
Yeah.
go, if it's a project that's taken on, with potentially being installed end of next year, you know, very beginning of the next,
Okay.
so.
So that would be for those 2 spaces, plus if we're able to find out, if we find out we can put something in this space. So that could potentially be 3 large purchases
Or, I
in
mean,
next year's
It could
budget.
be 1, 2, or 3. It may, you know, doing 2 right on Chamblee-Dunwoody Road, you know, 200 yards apart from each other might be a little overkill.
Good point, yeah.
So again, it's a question of scale.
Yeah, okay. And so, I guess that's something to be hashed out with Tanisha and city manager and you guys, is like when do we need to be a part of those conversations? When do we need to have some pieces that we might want to put to y'all for consideration? And, because
Yeah.
it's gonna take time for us to
And
solicit that.
you know, capital projects is going to be able to give a better handle on what the timeline is for all of this as well. They're the ones that manage the
Okay.
big pieces moving around.
So we're well in coordination with City Hall to, okay, good.
All right, and then Should we jump back up and approve the minutes?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we're going to circle back up to the April minutes, since we now have a quorum. I sent out an email a few hours ahead of the meeting that I caught a couple of issues in the minutes, April minutes document that went out. So there was an attachment with revisions on there, but I will outline these revisions that I am proposing to the April minutes, and then I'll call for a motion to approve those minutes with these said edits, assuming no one has any concerns with them. So in the April minutes, it said that we had a call to order by me, but I was absent last month, so the call to order actually happened by Paulina. And then there was note of the next meeting being the May meeting. It had it as 2024 with like a 6:30 start time. I corrected that, so the next meeting in the April minutes would have been today's meeting, May 22nd, 2025, 6 p.m. start. And then it had the adjourn time at 7 p.m., but the correct adjourn time was 6:25 p.m. according to the video on the city's YouTube channel. So I've made those, yeah. Whenever the green light on that camera up there is on. And then for the members who were absent, which was Jeremy, myself, and Elmer, I deleted the arrival and departure times. That's always at the top of the minutes document. So minor changes, but, you know, details matter. So those are the proposed changes that I have to the April minutes. So at this time, I'll call for motion to approve with those changes.
Motion to approve the amended minutes with the corrections as noted by Brittany Harper.
Thank you, Elmer. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Tom. All in favor of approving those minutes with those those edits? Thank you. All approved? All right. At this time, any public comment? Crickets. Awesome. All right, then I will take a motion to adjourn. Motion. Thank you, Tom. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor of adjourning? Thank you. We are adjourned at 6:44 p.m. today.